I am Karen Hartley Nagle, and I'm running for U.S. Congress for the state of Delaware. And I got into public service. In 2004, I ran for the U.S. State Senate and did okay. You know, got in, really didn't know what I was doing. I had been asked by a couple friends of mine to run. And I did. I filed, signed up, and then I said to them, well, what do I do now? I had never written a press release. I had no idea what I was doing, but I did. And they said, well, Karen, if you believe in the issues that you're fighting for, you'll get out there and speak about them. I said, oh my gosh, I can't do that. I said, I can't get up and speak in front of anybody. They said, if you really believe in this, you'll get up and talk about it. And you believe in kids. You believe in fighting for kids that have been abused. You believe in fighting for families. You know all the issues in the state. Get up there and fight for it. So I did, scared to death. Every time I get up and speak, I feel like I'm going to get sick. But I do it anyway, and it gets a little easier each time. And you know that it's worth it. It's worth overcoming that fear because you can make change. And in this state of Delaware, running in 2004 for State Senate, I was able to make change. I ran on the Protective Parent Reform Act, brought awareness to children that were sexually abused, brought awareness to battered women, and our now Attorney General had spoken to me at the time about that issue, and he ran on that issue, and he won. And he has brought tremendous change to Delaware now. His name is Beau Biden. His father was running for president, Senator Joe Biden, and both of them are tremendous supporters of women's issues. They fight against domestic violence. They fight against child sexual abuse. And they believe in it. You can see it when they talk about it. They believe in it. And it inspired me to run. So I ran again in 2006 for Congress. I had no money. I ran on $400. My opponent had $240,000 in the Democratic primary, and I got 40% of the vote. It was amazing. Nobody could believe that that could happen. And what was even more amazing, my opponent at the time had confronted me and had actually screamed at me that I had no right to run. I was a woman, I had no money, and I didn't have the right to run. Well, I not only ran, but I got 40%. And I showed that you could. You can make a difference by running for office and talking about the issues that you believe in and are passionate about. And it wasn't just those issues that I was talking about at the time. You know, I was talking about getting out of Iraq, talking about universal health care, because so many people do not have health care. They have to choose, am I going to pay the electric bill, or am I going to take my child to the dentist or the doctor? And no parent should have to make that choice. So we're able to make a difference. By running on that issue then, you hear more candidates running on that issue now. You know, and other issues, jobs in the economy, I decided to get into, and now I work for putting people to work, help them getting jobs, and I love it. You know, so I now focus on going into businesses and finding out what's important to them. What do we need to do to keep them in the state of Delaware and in the United States and not going overseas? So I became much more well-rounded, having run last time and now this time. Then I had a professional team approach me that wanted to take me on as a candidate, a team from Washington, and they're working with me now. And it's fabulous. I mean, we are working together as a team. I have support throughout the state of Delaware and making a difference for those people, because they know that when they vote for me, they're going to get someone who is going to fight for the issues that are important to them. And I listen to them. You know, I think that's important for a candidate to do, to listen to what's important to the people, because you are representing them. You're there to serve, and I believe in serving. I think I'm unique as a candidate. My ancestor was a signer of the Declaration and the Bill of Rights. You know, so service goes way back in my family history. And I was brought up that way, to serve, to give back to the community. You know, I've tried to teach my children that, and my children, they're involved. I also went through a divorce, and it was a devastating experience for me. Financially, you know, I was nearly bankrupt. I didn't file bankruptcy, but I went deeply into debt, and it cost me everything. You know, it cost me my home, my vehicle, everything, and I had to start over. But I believe when you get knocked down, you get back up, and you don't let anybody keep you down. And that's what I did, and I fought back, and I learned that you have, in a divorce case, and especially a custody battle, it is so important to create a record. That is something that I had to learn. I wasn't an attorney. I had spent over $100,000 in legal fees. My attorneys had wanted $40,000 more a week before the hearing for custody again, and I couldn't afford it. So at first, you know, I didn't do well, but I learned. I studied the law, and I came back, and I have been successful. You know, I can say that things have turned around now, but it took perseverance, and it takes not allowing them to take away your dignity. You know, you're worth it. You know, you have value, and nobody should have the right to put you down and tell you you're nothing, and that's what an abusive man will do. And what is most important to you is what they will try to take away. For instance, my ex had, you know, told me that he would destroy me and take my children, which is exactly what he tried to do. And this is typical. This is typical in abusive situations. And it's also typical that women that have been abused will marry someone similar probably to their father. My father was abusive. My parents went through that. And so it is so important to me, for this generation and for my children to pass on, is to break that cycle. Break that cycle of abuse. Do it differently. And to give my children and my grandchildren a better future. And that's why I continue to fight, because it's not just about my children now. It will be the gift I can give to my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren, and by passing what I have learned on to other people. You know, that is so valuable. And I cannot thank other people enough. I have been so blessed to have so many people around me helping me. So many people have come into my life, and to help me at just the right time, they show up, and it's helped me along the way. It's given me hope. I have a lot of people around me that are just inspiring, you know, and their life stories are inspiring, and they never give up, you know, and they continue on, and I just feel incredibly blessed. Some days I feel like someone should pinch me, you know, because I've just been meeting the most incredible people, and my children are here. You know, I went from virtually bankrupt to running for Congress, and I'm going to take this to Washington, but I need your help. I need your help when I get there. I need your help to get there, and I'm always going to need your help. We're going to have to work together. The grassroots is going to have to come up and work with the legislators, and the legislators are going to have to work with the grassroots, because you can't do it alone. You can't make change alone. You have to do it together, and you have to make sure your legislators hear you, and I'm going to be listening, and we are going to make change. There's no doubt. We're going to bring this to Washington, and your voice will be heard, and when I'm elected, we will make a difference, and we will change things for the next generation of children.